We're live. Hey, happy Wednesday, beautiful people. And it's a marvelous day. And I am super excited today to introduce my good colleague, Juanita Harvin. This is episode 7 of Lunchtime Live. And, thank you so much for tuning in each week. Greetings to all of you. Let us know where you're watching us from. And Lunchtime Live is part of my mission to showcase individuals in my business network, business community, and who are out there showing up and promoting themselves and their business and their story, especially how they get started. It's one of the things I love to draw out of people is their particular mission and why they get started in their businesses. So without further ado, we have Juanita Harvin, owner of EurWay Tours, with us today. Juanita, welcome.
Hi, how are you, Olivia?
Fantastic, now that you're here.
It's always a pleasure to see and work with you.
Likewise, Juanita. And I love that we're so color coordinated today. We've got florals, we've got colors, we've got patterns. It's a nice touch.
Yes. And of course, it's a dreary day here in Florida, so we have to try to brighten it up some kind of a way.
Absolutely. So, Juanita, I was doing some homework on you, and I love that you established EurWay Tours in 2018. And one of the things that is very prevalent is that it's a military family-owned business. Can you talk a little bit about that and why that's important to you?
Oh, wow, yes. I'm actually from Mannheim, Germany, and my husband was in the Air Force, and we went to Europe. Didn't think we'd stay there that long, but I worked for DoDDS as an educator, as an art and computer teacher, and then my last 10 years I was a protocol specialist. And so working and living overseas and working for the government and the military has really been our service to the many families and the kids that we've touched throughout our travels there in Europe and in the United States. But that's just a side of our family that we really, really adore, and we try to make sure and take care of, because we know what it's like being in that military family. You're always moving, and the transitions that they go through.
Fantastic. So you grew up, right, as a military child, and then you raised your 2 kids, your son and daughter, abroad. So you have deep roots. And I think I saw a video where you mentioned that April was the Military Child Month. So
yes. Yeah, I was an Army brat. My dad was in the Army. My mom's German. And then, of course, I married an Air Force fella, so my husband, Bill. And here we have our 2 kids that are, military brats, lived overseas, were born overseas in Germany. And so that does tend to keep us that way all the time. And that April, the month of the military child, is very near and dear to us, that we support all those organizations that assist the military families.
And I feel like it's a family affair. I mean, your husband's very much involved as a co-owner. I think Nicole, your daughter, is a photographer. And then Jason, right? He's like a hospitality specialist. And so
yes.
What is that like, having everybody so hands-on deck and so involved?
Oh, my goodness. So, Olivia, I never thought, retirement, people talk about, oh, you're going to retire to Florida. You're going to be sitting on the rocking chairs, going to be out on the beach and stuff. And I thought, oh, no, I'm not ready for that yet. And my kids actually talked me into, well, Mom, do what your passion is. You always like to show people around. You did it in Europe, do it from here. Why not? And before you knew it, and yes, our son's in the hospitality industry, so he helped with all of the jargon and all that good stuff, getting us going. He came up with the name EurWay Tours, part of Europe, but it's going to be your way. But we're going to not just do Europe, we do everything. And then our daughter, the media specialist and web person, she then came up with the website and the business cards and the logo and things, and my husband's right there for the support. And so a lot of times, I always laugh and joke because my husband says, we're out volunteering. This last weekend, we did the Battle of the Burgers for our Rotary down on Pensacola Bay. And they said, oh gosh, they told my husband, you rigged him into coming to help us out with this too? And he says, well, if I don't come and help her with her volunteer things, I won't see my wife. So with the family always involved, they always support me, and so actually my son and daughter last Christmas, they spent the time here at home setting up my videos and stuff. So Jason was holding the lights, Nicole was saying, stay on the script, and don't laugh so much, so the bloopers turned into a bigger thing than the actual PR commercials that they videotaped for me.
That is, it just, so heartwarming to hear how involved everyone is, right? And everyone plays a big role. And it was that your kids that encouraged you to step out to this new adventure and saying, Mom, go for it. So I think that's really sweet. And I love that they're part of this. And so sweet of your husband, that's the only way I'll see her, if I just support her and follow along. And that's so true of business, right? I mean, I think oftentimes we create business for those opportunities to spend more time with family.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes you have no idea. And my husband, we just had some friends over. My husband told me, he says, everybody in our family has an LLC except for me. So Nicole's off on her B. Harvin design web business. And today's children are a little bit different than some of us that are always thinking, oh, get that job to make sure you get that retirement. We look long term, and they're just looking for the moment. And just like my son, he's got a little hobby on the side. Oh my gosh, wayward walls, so accent walls. He loves painting, so why not? And I thought, okay. So they encouraged me and said, yep. And it does help when you're doing a business of types. And it's always good to get other people's opinions and feedback, because sometimes the way I look at it may not be the way they look at it, or they think that today's clients would look at it. So that's always good to get an insight.
Well, I commend you. I mean, you are a family of entrepreneurs, and I think those are incredible values to pass on, to your kids. And just going back to what you said earlier about how, Jason came up with all the jargon and the play on words. And that's something that I really love, the play on words with your, specialization with Europe, right? The EurWay, traveling to Europe and then customizing it, right? For groups and families, whatever they may need, customizing travel itineraries, catering to those groups or individuals, your way. So that was a very clever play on words. And then I think in the midst of COVID, you came up with some very special vacation terminology. I remember Covacation, and you did a video of that. Tell us more about Covacation, what that means.
Well, Olivia, just like I met you and I met all the entrepreneurs on the Eagles, on the Lunchtime Zoom Fridays, that gave me that encouragement and gave me guidance, because, you might have an idea in the back of your mind, you have a passion to do something, but sometimes you're missing those words. And yeah, my son was in there with a lot of the ideas, because he works with the hospitality industry and things. And he says, just remember, most people will know you and will get to know you and what you do. And so here you're stuck and you're sitting there. The travel industry was just like stopped at a halt. Nothing was going. And we thought, oh, are we going to be able to make it through? Just like the restaurants, everything, kind of goes together. Everything has a thread somewhere. And so all those things go together. And so when here we're sitting there, and everybody said, staycation, you're at home and you're having, people are building pools and doing more things at home. And I thought, okay, we got to get out of this mode soon, and then the vaccine came and we're like, okay, we got to get out of this COVID stuff. And I just came up with the Covacation. You guys inspired me. People make up words. I thought, yeah, I'm going to make up one too, and it was just one of those ideas of, yeah, we're all together in this, but it's okay. Let's try to think of it in a positive way. And so I try to do those little commercials just to get folks to know, you're not alone. Some people, been home. They were home alone all year. I know that was difficult for many. And so a lot of times, sometimes you need that entertainment. And then I noticed a lot of people were more on Facebook and those types of things. So.
Awesome. Well, wonderful. I always love that story. And I thought that was so clever as well, to come up with a term, a play on words from staycation to covacation. And you're right, let's stay indoors. And like, no, it's time to plan now, dream now, and travel later. And I think that's a big motto. And it's something that you always say. It's like your slogan. So, what's on the horizon? Because I know you put together an itinerary. What's on the horizon for this year?
Wow. Yes, some of those horizon things, you plan ahead and you hope that things will happen. And so one of the big things is that things are slowly opening, and we try to accommodate and calm folks, but some folks are still a little weary. So right now we are still a go. So one of our first ventures out is going to be, we're heading to Hawaii this month. So in 2 weeks, a small group I'm taking folks down to Hawaii. They are open. So a lot of places are open, Mexico, the Caribbean, and some of those places. And you have some standards that they're keeping, getting tested before you leave, even though you may have the vaccine. Take your vaccine cards with you because that'll help. In most cases, but still a lot of places are wanting you to test before you get there and when you leave. And so down the road right now, our cruises may be opening back up in July. So those are some of the nice things to think about. Europe, unfortunately, is still at a lockdown. And so tourists aren't really going there except for Greece and Croatia. Those folks have really done a wonderful job in getting folks vaccinated and getting things going again. So those are two of the areas that are opening probably in June. Unfortunately, we've had to postpone our trip to Nepal and Kathmandu. We were going to go there this fall in November, but we're going to postpone that until probably February or March of next year, as they're having a difficult time there with the pandemic. And so in Europe, we're hoping that by Christmas, we will be heading to the Christmas markets in Germany, France, and Austria. That's one of our typical tours that we do in the fall. And it's either a 1 week or a 10-day tour. And then we're on the books for Italy, Araba, Italy. We're going skiing for Christmas. So we're all excited because we missed last year. And the whole hotel missed us. When you've got some of those favorite places to go to, and it's not just the culture, it's also the cuisine that you're looking forward to. And some of those things are our ultimate things. Morocco is slowly opening up, so we hope we'll be there in the fall as well. And some of our folks right now, they're being brave. They're like, okay, Juanita, I've got to get out of here. So I've got a couple of folks that have already booked. In June, they're heading to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. I've got a couple of folks heading also out to Hawaii. I've got a Jamaica trip scheduled for a group of sorority sisters. And then, of course, many of them are ready to go to Aruba. And then I've got one group that's looking to go to Antigua. So, oh my gosh, yeah, people are starting to get out of that area and think, okay, we're going to be able to go. And there's just looking. And so on our website, we keep one of the links going all the time to check what's it look like in the area that I might be wanting to travel to.
Wow, that's quite a itinerary. That's quite a rundown, Juanita. Thank you for sharing. And for those who were watching, I popped up the link. So if you would like a download of this itinerary, it's available on the website and also make it available in the comments here too. But it's so exciting just to hear about the possibilities, and I'm glad to see that there are precautions in place for safe travel, etc.
Mhm.
And one of the things that as you're talking about these itineraries, I've heard some unusual ones like the culinary and the festivals. So I think how does that distinguish you from other travel agencies about this off the beaten path travel or the unknown destinations, etc.
Well, in my previous life as a protocol officer and specialist and host nation relations person, I had to show many of the folks different places and show them the culture of the host country that they're in. And so doing that, I learned a lot of things, met so many people. And so we like sharing those. So we go castle hopping. You know what? Have you ever thought about spending the night in a castle? So we've got a couple of places that we always go to that we love doing that. So of course the girls love the shopping. Who wouldn't love to go to the real Swarovski factory in Austria? But the guys aren't always into that. So some of the things we specialize, we customize some of our tours. So we make sure that the gals can go do their things and the fellas might be able to go off into the golf course over at the castle or over one of the famous places that they've always heard about, but now you're actually going to be able to golf on those areas. And so when we do our tours, the customizing comes in the time of year. And so we look and see Europe has festivals all over the place. And so we make sure we get to the Spring Fest. So next year, Spring 22, we'll be at the Stuttgart Spring Fest, which is sort of like the Spring Beer Fest. And we have VIP seats that I reserve every year for my guests because we're there with the owner of the tent. We get the VIP treatment, and you're really going to see a fest, the cultural part of why we're celebrating, why they're celebrating. It's not just about drinking the beer. Some of us don't even drink beer. So we just want to do the cultural thing and hear the oompa music and get dressed up in our little dirndls and our outfits and stuff. And then we make sure that, if you're really into the culture of a country, we have a lot of places, a lot of friends we found that love to share their cooking. So we do smaller, we don't have huge, large buses a lot of times. We have some of the smaller groups where you and your family or a group of gals can come to the Tuscany Valley, do some wine tasting, and then learn to cook or watch them cook. Either way, but we like to go in there and do that cultural stuff because I love seeing what different people do, off the beaten path. You'll get to see some of those pretty things, the Mercedes Museum, the Porsche museums. But gosh, wouldn't it be great if you could test drive that Porsche in those mountains? That's a whole different experience there. And so those are the kinds of things that we like to show and have people see, and just to see how do they cook in the Black Forest. Oh my gosh, wellness is a whole nother level when you go out to the Four Seasons, the Fier Jahres site in the Black Forest, and the culinary tours that we give there to see how they make the food. Oh, and then what they have is vital menus. So if you're on a special diet, we have those kinds of things too that we cater to our guests. So they can choose. It's not the cookie cutter. If you decide, oh, I want to go see this and this, but I don't want to go see that, we make that happen. You're going to have that tour of a lifetime that you've been planning on and really wanting to see those things, and we make that happen for you, and we do it affordably. And I think that's one of the reasons that I started my business as well. I used to see how much people were charging for some of these tours, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've lived here, done this. That it shouldn't cost that much. And so now being in the tourism business, I know how we can still get that adventure, get that experience, and then not have you break the bank.
Incredible. And I'm so glad you brought at that point because I think travel does get expensive. And this is really lends to your experience of living abroad, like, right? And you've built over what, 40 years of living abroad. I mean, you have an extensive network, right, of resources and groups and organizations that you can pool together and leverage to make adventure accessible. And I think that's the key word there, right? So just accessible, so that way you can cross things off your bucket list. I put a question out, those who are watching, I put a question out there, what's on your bucket list? Where is it that you want to travel next? I encourage you to sit down with Juanita and her team and just have a discovery call. Are you open to that, Juanita? Just having discovery
Oh,
call?
yes.
People
And
know.
a lot of people would rather talk to folks, and that's always good because then we can get good ideas from them.
Excellent. So yeah, so I encourage you guys, visit EurWay Tours. It's actually yourway.tours. That's the website. So that's very clever as well. Good marketing. And, schedule a call when needed. She's very accessible. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on LinkedIn, of course. And, they think you're so passionate about, just helping people explore the world and just having this more immersive experience. So yes, we think of vacation as being, a retreat of sorts, maybe a time to relax, etc. But it can also be a very rewarding cultural immersive experience to see how the other side lives, or to see local customs,
Yes.
etc. So I think that's really a huge offering that you're doing.
Well, thanks, Olivia. Yeah, it is a passion, and when you go somewhere and you say, "Oh, wow," and you can't share all those pictures. In the olden days, you used to print out the pictures. Now they're digital. Oh my gosh, I have oodles, and how do you share them? How do you show people? But sometimes they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but doing it live, oh my gosh, to go to Morocco and eat food. I'm a real picky eater. But I'll always try something once, won't do grasshoppers and stuff like that. But wow, to eat the wonderful cuisine and then to hear the music, oh my gosh, it's just one of those wonderful things that I just want other people to be able to get to do. I feel sad sometimes when folks say, oh, I've lived here in my town, in my state, and I've been here my whole life. And I thought, wow, you really only get to see the world on the television, and it's not always like it is on television. So to spread that and to just share some of those different things that they're capable of seeing or doing. And some people have no idea. They'll just say, okay, I've got 10 days. What can we do?
Fantastic. Awesome. And I want to just talk a little bit about how you've expanded your business, right? So yes, you're a travel agency, you do the travel planning, but then you've also kind of teach the etiquette classes I saw on Zoom.
Oh,
Like the new business vertical with being a wine ambassador. So, talk about how those business verticals came to be. How do they complement your travel business now?
well, in the life of being with my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, I do a lot of volunteer work, and we have programs where we work with young people. And so, even back in Germany, we used to do etiquette lessons with the students, and then the adults want to come in with us because they knew, oh, they're going to a castle to do etiquette lessons. Whoa! And so here I brought that with me, and with the pandemic, you can't go, you can't go anywhere. So I had to do some of those lessons with students. And so I did them on Zoom. I just accommodated, I changed a few things, and I did those etiquette lessons. Having gone to protocol school, you learn a lot of those things. And so when these students sometimes are getting ready for cotillions or proms or first dates and stuff, a lot of their parents said, oh, they needed some of those things. So the etiquette lessons kind of came in. We used to do them, and I thought, okay, we can transfer this and try to do this on Zoom. And it worked out pretty well. And we said, we sent them kits and things here in the Pensacola area. So my alumni chapter here had their cotillion virtually. So we did everything. We trained the students virtually, and they did the whole cotillion all there and did their fundraisers and the whole bit. And so working with students is always, kind of been my passion. So I kind of sneak that in there with the workshops and things. And I work with student groups. So whether they're Girl Scouts or they're Delta Gems, I try to give back and do volunteer work that way. And doing that, all of a sudden, my entrepreneur club, that luncheon Friday Zoom, oh my goodness. Well, travel wasn't doing anything. And Nancy Gaskins kept saying, Juanita, get yourself a wine company. Go down to the local wine and tell them you'll do a travel show when they do wine tastings. And that didn't work really. Nobody was really ready for that, the safety net and things. And so then all of a sudden, I just, the internet, what do you know? I put out a little message out there and I said, hi, is anybody else out there doing, wine tastings or virtual things, or what do you think? And a gal picked up right on it. A couple of people commented, yes, yes. And somebody said, oh, Juanita, you are perfect for this. And next thing I know, she texted, she emailed, oh my goodness. And so here, this young gal got me involved, and Roman texted me, and next thing I know, I am a wine ambassador for the Boisset wine collection coming out of Napa, California. So, not just did we not, how many Zoom classes did you take during the pandemic? So I took tourism classes, I took all, so now here I am taking wine courses and in another realm of EurWay Tours, but I'm really kind of excited. Actually, today I get to do my very first live wine tasting with my neighbors. So I'm practicing on my neighbors today, and they're going to do some Boisset wine collection wine tasting with me this evening for a happy hour. And one of the things that really intrigued me about this company was that they had vineyards, over 27 of them in the Napa Valley, California. And all I could think of was, woohoo, tour, we're going to go there. Another great, wonderful cultural experience. Be there with the vineyards and the real folks that grow the wine and do all of those things. And they also have vineyards in France and Hungary. And my European stuff here again. Oh, another trip to Germany, another trip to France. Oh, yes, we're going to go visit these vineyards over there as well. And so it's, from one idea to the next. Oh, Nancy Gaskin and that entrepreneur group, the ideas, and all my husband keeps saying is, oh my goodness, what, something else? But, I was, all that wine that I had shipped from Europe, it was getting low. It was running out. So I says, oh, you're going to have to get used to something American. And my goodness, oh, I think I hit the diamond here. This is just a wonderful group. And not just do we do the virtual wine tastings, everything gets shipped to you. And then we do the Zoom kind of a thing. We can also ship to you, so that you don't have to cook or do anything. The wine and cheese and everything gets shipped to you. So you can have friends over. You can just do it by yourself on the Zoom. But I think that's one of the neat things. So my cooking Zoom class is also going to do the virtual wine tasting. So everybody's kind of like, okay, what's the next step? What can we try? And if you're really interested and you love the wines, you can actually join their wine club. So I was kind of excited about that. So you can either get wine shipped to you monthly or quarterly. And so from the tastings, you say, oh, I like that, or let me try something else. So every 3 months, 4 times a year, you could get wine and at a 20% discount, which I thought, okay. So, and not just would I be doing some of the programs, the Boisset Wine Collection even has pre-done programs right on the internet that you can join in their vineyards, in their wine testing cellars and things like that. So, and if you join the wine clubs, gosh, you get a free tour with you and 3 others to go to the Napa Valley and experience that, or do a champagne tasting down at the Ritz-Carlton down in San Francisco. I mean, some really neat little things. And oh my goodness, yeah, this is my new, being a wine ambassador is a new thing for me. But I'm just really enjoying it, and just encasing it as a new adventure for EurWay Tours.
Wow, Juanita, congratulations. Congratulations and kudos to you for experimenting and just devising new ways to add service and value to your clients, right? I think that's incredible that just because we are in the sensitive time of travel and pandemic and COVID, it didn't, you are still being able to offer, right, those immersive experiences, culture experiences, travel, culinary, and now through wine to folks who may be at home. So I think it's incredible, and congratulations on that. I can't
Well,
wait for you.
thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to expand on that because it sounds like a lot of fun, and there's a certain level of, I guess, a sophistication, and it's
Oh,
interesting to have those manners, right? I think just to learn simple things that you can do so that we can appear refined and sophisticated. And when you talked about the debutante balls and the cotillions and the castles, like wow, gosh, like there's that kind of old worldly feeling to it. I think it's that's very charming, and I mean something I'm past the debutante stage. I'm past that debutante stage age, coming of age, but I was
Olivia.
for myself.
Oh, nowadays, and some of the parents or the adults, they just sit in because they just want to see us showing how to eat dinner, with the forks and the knives left and right. Oh, how many forks and how many knives? Why are they all there? So a lot of that, when that get explained to you, oh, it's too easy. And Olivia, you're not past the debutante. This is when it's a wonderful time. You get your friends together, a tea. An afternoon tea is always a good way, just when you're sharing ideas, and everybody loves tea or coffee, and so you get to use those etiquette skills wherever. You'd be surprised. You never know where you're going to get invited to next.
Indeed, yes, indeed, yes, and that's a great idea, the afternoon tea, because I think the British are definitely very serious about that.
Um,
There's a
oh,
whole
yes, yes.
cultural norm around it too, so I definitely love to learn something about that.
Yes. And Olivia, one of the big things that I found is that I have another sorority sister, and she always used to teach us about the teas. And we even did teddy bear teas for fundraisers in Europe. And she went after her passion. So Stephanie's teacup in Texas, that is, I think it's near you in Houston, she took that and turned it into a passion. And she does teas for kids and adults. And so, the afternoon teas, the high teas is what British folks, it's real official, but you can do an afternoon tea, a fun tea. Oh my goodness. And we've even gone to the point where we find a local small business that has like a tea corner, or they do baked goods and you can have a tea there or whatever. And so sometimes to support your local community businesses as well that you can collaborate with, that's always a big thing. So whenever you're in business, right now you're looking at almost everything. And so sometimes these organizations or these businesses never thought about bringing somebody in to do about, how to eat dinner, or how to have a tea and how to react. Sometimes it's just an excuse to get dressed up, put that hat on, and get dressed up and stuff. So, depending on what it's all about, yeah, whether you learn the etiquette or you just want to play it for the day, it's all right.
Beautiful. Thank you. Seize the moments, right, Juanita? And thank you so much for being such a fantastic guest here today on Lunchtime Live. You're just a wealth of information, and just amazed, right, by all that your company offers. So those of you watching this on replay, highly encourage you to connect with Juanita if you haven't met her already. Check out EurWay Tours, both on LinkedIn, and she has a YouTube channel, and the website has lots of just amazing travel tips, the itineraries there. You can schedule a discovery call, consultation call with Juanita. And this has been episode 7 of Lunchtime Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. I, host these Lunchtime Live every Wednesday at 12:40 Eastern Time. And I believe that, visibility, impact, and brand expression are the keys to your social media success. And Juanita, you are totally embodying all of
And
that.
Olivia, I have to say, you picked me on a good day. Today's Travel Advisor Day, so thank you so much. And folks, if you've not ever worked with Olivia, oh my goodness, Olivia is the person to go to. Oh my gosh. So she got me out of my comfort zone and got me into videos and things. So Olivia, I thank you for all that you do for the community, for the business folks. And you came up with my name, the Travel Enthusiast. So thank you, and thank you for your enthusiasm for sharing all of those technology things that some of us were so afraid of. But you have done a wonder of getting us to a new phase in being able to do LinkedIn. So thank you.
It's my pleasure, Juanita, my pleasure. So congratulations and happy Travel Advisor Day to you. All right, awesome. Well, if you would like to be featured on an episode of Lunchtime Live, please connect with me. Please send me a message or just book a time on my calendar. And I wish you all a fabulous, wonderful Wednesday. Take care, everyone. Bye.